What's up, Comic Book Nation? BD here. Welcome back to the studio at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm joined right now. I'm excited because I'm here with the WWE World Champion, Kofi Kingston. Dude, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you, man.
I'll tell you something. I was watching that match. I was traveling. I was in the airport watching on my phone. I was in Dallas.
Oh, wow.
I was like, and then people came around me, and they saw I was watching it, and they watched it too.
Oh, my God.
So I want to just go back to that moment really quickly because as a fan, I want to hear what that's like for you to be able to hoist the belt up in front of that audience and just know you did it. You got there.
So I'll go through the progression. So number one, this is all I've ever wanted to do. This has been my dream, being a WWE superstar. I joined the wrestling team in high school thinking that it was WWE style wrestling. When someone was like, "Oh, you want to go for the wrestling?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll go out." And there was no ropes, obviously, no canvas. So this is all I've ever wanted to do. There were so many points within this match where I thought this is the best point of my career, right? So obviously going against Daniel Bryan, somebody who was in the same position that I was in 2 years earlier. The storyline was amazing. He's so good. I'm like, this is going to be the best match of my career, you know? Getting in there, having the match, going through it, knowing where everything was going. And then finally the 1, 2, 3 happened. I'm like, oh my God, like this is the greatest moment of my career. And then 2 seconds later, Woods and E are dogpiling me, and so happy, and we're just like kids on a playground, just rolling around in the sand. And I'm like, this is the best moment of my career because we have been through so much to get to that very point, and then I'm standing in the middle of the ring, and then one of them runs down to grab the title to bring it inside the ring. I'm like, oh my God. Now they hoist me up on their shoulders. I'm like, this is the best moment of my career. They put me down. They go get my kids from the crowd, and then they bring them in, and now I'm holding them, in the ring, and now they're saying, now this is the best moment of my career. And it just was this, avalanche of positive emotion just over and over and over. And then again, like going on to social media that night was like people, like you were saying, you know what I mean? Like just videos of people reacting and being so elated that this moment happened, So just really fortunate to have, I literally just told that story in a different interview, like right next door. And every time I tell it, it doesn't get old.
It comes through, man. Like you can tell that
I just get so emotional.
It means something to you, and that's the best. But I think it comes through in the ring too. Yeah. That's why I think it's easy for so many people to get behind you. Yeah. It's so fun to support you because we're genuinely rooting for you. Right on. And this isn't your first Comic-Con. No,
I think this is my third Comic-Con, if I'm not mistaken. I was here when our Bootios debuted,
right?
Our Funko Pops debut. I think that was like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't know. And then last year I was on the Dragon Ball Z panel, which was amazingly incredible. I felt so out of place. You had Sean Shebel, Chris Sabat, the voices of Vegeta and Goku, and then you had like producers there. Gen Fuganaka is like the president of Funimation. He was there, and then me, who was just the biggest fan. And I should be sitting on the other side, just like fanboying out, like, look. Just goosebumps, man. Just, But yes, this is I think it's my third Comic-Con.
You're living the dream. That is so cool.
It's great.
But now let me ask you this, since it is your third, but this is your first time carrying the belt around.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest change? How are fans when they see you reacting now? Is there any difference? Anything more exciting going on for you?
A lot of times people will share their moments just like you did with me, and that is probably the biggest change. Like you can see a genuine smile and happiness because there's a very strong sense of the fact that it wasn't just me that did this. I always say we are the champion. We did this because without the fans demanding that I be put in WrestleMania, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't happen, you know? Right. And it's one of the times that WWE actually listened to what the fans wanted. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably been the biggest difference, is seeing like the genuine smiles and happiness on people's faces that I'm the champ.
That's so cool. And coming up, we have Raw Reunion.
Yes.
So I just want to talk about that. I mean, can you tease, what we can expect, who we might see, what kind of...
You guys probably know more than I do at this point, but there's so many people. Shawn Michaels, I believe, is going to be there. Psycho Sid is going to be there. That was just announced. Who else? A lot of people. There's going to be so many people just all in the same building, just...
So I can only imagine, though.
Melina's another one, too, who hasn't been in the WWE ring for like 10 years. I was on the roster when she left, so she's going to be back. There's too many people to...
But I can only imagine a lot of these folks who are going to be there were influences on you when you were coming up and you were starting to see, like, I could do this. So who who are some of your biggest influences? And then maybe, I don't know, have you met everybody that you kind of were influenced by at this point?
Almost. Almost.
So cool.
And it's awesome. Shawn Michaels he was my guy for sure. Rey Mysterio, another one, which again is crazy. So yesterday we had a panel for Mattel, and he was on the panel. Sometimes it still blows my mind. Like, I've been on the same roster as Rey on and off now for over a decade, but it's still like, so I was very small in high school. I had to gain weight to get to the 103 pound weight class in wrestling, like my freshman year. I was really small. I tell everyone that I wanted to be a WWE superstar. They laugh at me because I was so small, but then I'd go home and see Rey Mysterio winning championships, and at the time I was like, oh, I feel like I'm bigger than he is, So he's a guy that led by example and provided just a sense of hope for people who were like, he's the ultimate underdog. Like, that's very real. So Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, another one, So there's a lot of people that definitely influenced me.
More likely to ever see from you a Sweet Chin Music or a 619?
For me?
Yeah, if you had to do one of them.
Oh my gosh, I would do both. Why not?
That'd be awesome. That'd be so cool, dude. Yeah. Oh man. And then in a few weeks, we're now just a few weeks away from SummerSlam already.
Yes.
I don't know where this year's going.
Yeah.
But we're a few weeks away from SummerSlam. Everybody on the internet kind of has their own perfect match for you, perfect opponent for you. I want to hear from you. What can we expect? Who I've seen Randy Orton's name thrown around from fans.
Yeah.
I've seen Dolph Ziggler's name thrown around from fans. I want to hear from you. Like, what can we expect?
I have no idea, and that's the thing about being in WWE is that you have no idea. For example, I was in a rivalry with Kevin Owens, and then all of a sudden I was in a rivalry with Dolph Ziggler. And then it seemed like it was going to be me, Kevin Owens, and Dolph Ziggler, and then it was Samoa Joe, So you just have no idea. I just take things kind of one day at a time, but I'm really excited for SummerSlam, especially in Toronto with such a, rabid wrestling base, wrestling fan base. It's going to be an amazing energy, I got some sneakers coming out, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, there you go. Look at that with the belt in there, too.
Yeah, the silhouette of what happened at WrestleMania. I'll just leave that right there, and put the other one right there. Get real comfortable, you know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Available at Foot Locker in Canada, So
Congrats,
it's going to be a
man.
real exciting week. And like I said, SummerSlam is always hype. Brock Lesnar, the newly crowned Universal Champion. Seth Rollins, I believe, is going to have a shot at him, based on what happened on Raw. So, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
That's your match with Daniel Bryan. I think the two of you, your style in the ring, made it one of the most entertaining matches to watch. So, who is somebody who other than Daniel, who you think would be a really fun match? Your styles would just be fun to get in there and put on a show.
There's a lot. Aleister Black, off the top of my head, I think he's awesome. Cesaro, they just had an amazing match.
Yeah.
But Cesaro's always great. Ricochet is awesome. I'd love to be able to test my athleticism versus his. I'm sure he would probably win in that sense. He's crazy athletic. There's a lot of new talent, that's coming up. Even like Heavy Machinery, seeing like Woods and E go up against them with Daniel Bryan was cool too, because you have guys who like to have fun out there, but who are also, they're stout. They're legitimate, like nationally ranked amateur wrestlers. These guys are really, really good. They come out and they dance and everything, but they're legit, So there's just so much talent on the roster right now. I could go through and literally name everybody. I just get excited about being able to have great matches every time that I'm given the opportunity, because that's the goal as the champ, to be the best champ possible and going up against the best competition and putting on the best matches.
Just get out there and dance, man.
Yeah,
that's so cool. Do you have a favorite match of your own? It might be a little biased because one, you came home with the title, but do you have a favorite when you look back at everything you've done so far?
This is a cop-out answer, but every great match that I've had is great for different reasons. This obviously is the culmination of everything, and if I had to put my finger on one, it would definitely have to be WrestleMania versus Daniel Bryan. But there are other matches too, facing Dolph Ziggler for the United States Championship in Washington, D.C. as two guys who are trying to steal the show and make names for themselves, on the main roster. Young guys who are undersized, trying to, having to prove themselves, guys who can't just go out there and stand and be a presence. I always love going up against Dolph. My first WrestleMania Money in the Bank ladder match was awesome, being able to break through and, break the mold. I had a match on Main Event versus Edge, which was great, you know, but it wasn't even on Raw or SmackDown. So I'm just, before I name like all the matches in my career, I have fun every time I go out there.
That's great, man. And one thing, we've heard the creative change where Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are taking control. These guys, I mean, they're kind of legends in wrestling.
Kind of.
So, dude, they're right. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how much they tell you in advance, stuff like that, but what do you think of the kind of changes they could make from, you know, from a kind of a puppeteer standpoint?
It is very intriguing because those guys are some of the best minds in the wrestling business, you know, in the history of the wrestling business. And it's always good to be always switching things up. And those are guys who not only think outside the box, but they live outside the box. So to have, you know, them behind the creative of Raw and SmackDown is very intriguing. I'm really looking forward to working with Eric Bischoff. He's actually one guy that I have not met. You know, there
are a few left. There are a couple left.
There's a handful. So hopefully we get to work closely as time goes through.
Amazing, man. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come talk with us today. Congratulations,
thanks,
and keep it up, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody, Comic Book Nation, for watching, and make sure you stay tuned to Comicbook.com all week long from San Diego Comic-Con. Ladies and gentlemen, Kofi Kingston.
Yeah!